Life is full of questions we cannot answer. One of the biggest questions is, why do we suffer? Why do good people face hard times? We see pain all around us. We feel it in our own hearts. It is a heavy weight. Sometimes we might think that suffering is a punishment or a mistake. Maybe we believe that something has gone terribly wrong in the world. But what if our pain has a purpose? What if the darkest nights are meant to show us the brightest stars? Perhaps our struggles are not the end of the story. Maybe they are just the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with unexpected lessons. Consider the story of a man named Vance Havner. He was a preacher, a strong voice who shared his faith with many people. He was confident and honestly sometimes critical of others. He did not understand why some people struggled with things like anxiety or exhaustion. Then, in his 30s, Vance himself became very sick with a nervous disorder. For 2 long years he was weak and tired. He could not work. He could not preach. He felt helpless and lost in his own body. He had to depend completely on others for his daily needs, a humbling experience for such an independent man. This difficult time changed him forever. Before, he was quick to judge people who seemed weak. Now he understood their pain because he had felt it himself. His suffering opened his eyes. It softened his heart. He learned what it meant to be truly dependent, not just on people, but on God. The illness that seemed like a curse turned into a blessing. It taught him a lesson he could never have learned from a book. It was a lesson written on his heart through tears and trials, a lesson that would shape the rest of his ministry and his life. Through his weakness, Vance Havner found a new kind of strength. He learned empathy. He learned to be gentle with people who were hurting. His suffering was not for nothing. It was a tool that God used to make him a better person, a more compassionate guide for others who were lost in their own dark valleys. His story reminds us that our pain can have a deep and beautiful purpose. God can take our broken pieces and use them to create something new. He can turn our greatest struggles into our greatest strengths, teaching us to love others in a way we never could before. The Bible tells us about a man named Paul. He was a great leader and a powerful teacher. He traveled far and wide sharing a message of hope. You might think a man like Paul would have an easy life, but he did not. Paul had a secret pain, something he called a thorn in the flesh. We do not know exactly what this thorn was. It could have been a physical illness, a constant temptation, or even a person who caused him trouble. Whatever it was, it caused him great suffering. It was a constant reminder of his own human weakness. 3 times Paul prayed to God. He begged God to take the thorn away. He wanted to be free from this pain. He believed he could serve God better without this constant struggle. But God's answer was not what Paul expected. God did not remove the thorn. Instead, he said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." This was a surprising answer. God was not going to give Paul what he asked for. He was going to give him something better, his own strength in the middle of Paul's weakness. This lesson changed Paul's perspective completely. He stopped seeing the thorn as a curse. He began to see it as a gift. He learned to be thankful for his weakness because it was a doorway to God's power. When Paul was weak, God was strong in him. The thorn kept him humble. It reminded him that he needed God every single moment of every single day. It prevented him from becoming proud of his own accomplishments. His suffering had a holy purpose. It was a channel for a strength that was not his own. So Paul learned to welcome his trials. He said he would boast about his weaknesses so that the power of Christ could rest on him. This is a powerful idea. Our struggles are not signs of God's absence. They can be signs of his presence. They are opportunities for us to lean on him more fully. Like Paul, we can find strength not when our problems disappear, but right in the middle of them. God doesn't always take away the storm, but he promises to be with us in the boat, guiding us safely through the waves. Suffering is a difficult teacher, but its lessons are profound. One of the most important lessons it teaches us is compassion. When we have not experienced deep pain ourselves, it can be hard to understand what others are going through. We might offer simple advice or become impatient with their sadness. We see their tears, but we do not feel the weight behind them. We are like students who have read the book but have never taken the test. We know the words, but we do not understand the meaning. True understanding often comes only after we have walked a similar path. Think about it. Who is better able to comfort a parent who has lost a child? Another parent who has walked through that same valley of grief. Who can better encourage someone fighting a long illness? Someone who knows the daily struggle of pain and fatigue. Our own wounds give us a unique ability to minister to others. Our scars become a map that can help guide another person through their own darkness. The pain we thought would break us can become the very thing that helps us heal someone else. This is why the Apostle Paul, having learned from his own thorn, urged others to media group, open Bible with highlighted verses, mentor encouraging a younger person at it, distribute _equally, comfort the faint-hearted, uphold the weak, be patient with all. He was not just writing words, he was sharing a lesson learned in the school of suffering. His own weakness taught him to be patient with the weaknesses of others. His own need for comfort taught him how to comfort those with a faint heart. Suffering breaks down the walls of pride and judgment. It replaces them with bridges of empathy and kindness, connecting our hearts in a shared human experience. So when you face trials, remember that God might be preparing you for a special purpose. He may be teaching you a language of the heart that can only be learned through tears. Your pain is not wasted. It is being woven into a beautiful story of redemption. It is equipping you to become a source of comfort and strength for a world that is hurting. You are becoming an ambassador of hope, not because you have all the answers, but because you know what it feels like to need them. In the middle of a storm, it is easy to feel lost and alone. The wind howls, the waves crash, and we can't see the shore. This is what suffering can feel like. It can make us question everything we believe. Where is God when it hurts so much? Does he see our tears? Does he even care? These are honest questions that come from a place of deep pain. It is in these moments that faith becomes more than just a belief. It becomes a lifeline. It is the anchor that holds us steady when everything else is shaking. Faith does not promise an easy life. It does not promise that we will never suffer. Instead, it promises that we will never suffer alone. It gives us the assurance that a loving God is with us, holding our hand even when we cannot feel his grip. Faith is the trust that God is working all things together for our good, even the things that feel terrible. It is the belief that there is a bigger picture that we cannot yet see, a beautiful design being woven from the tangled threads of our lives. This trust gives us the strength to endure. It gives meaning to our struggles. We can face the pain not with despair, but with hope. We can believe that our trials are shaping us, making us more like the person God created us to be. Faith allows us to look beyond our present circumstances and see a future filled with purpose. It is the quiet whisper in our hearts that says, "You will get through this." This is not just wishful thinking, it is a deep confidence in the character of a God who is faithful and good. So, if you are in a season of suffering, hold on to your faith. Let it be the light that guides you through the darkness. Talk to God about your pain, your anger, and your questions. He is big enough to handle them. Trust that he is using this difficult time to do a deep work in your soul, making you more patient, more kind, and more compassionate. Your story is not over. The storm will not last forever. And when the morning comes, you will find that you are not broken, but stronger, held safely in the hands of a God who never let you go.